Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Science by Nem Vita. Whether you're listening at the end of a long day or simply letting your thoughts slow down, this is a place where curiosity unfolds gently. There's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to focus on. If you find your attention drifting, that's perfectly fine. Let the words become a soft background, and let your body settle into rest. Allow your breathing to soften, slow down, and become quiet, steady, and easy. I'm glad you're here. Before there was an earth, before there were stars, before there was even light as we know it, there was a quiet beginning, not an explosion in the way we imagine, but a gentle opening. Space itself began to stretch, slowly and evenly, in every direction at once. There was no sound, no edge, no center, just expansion, calm and uninterrupted, like a deep breath that never needed to end. In those earliest moments, time and space were closely woven together. They moved forward not with urgency, but with patience. You don't need to picture anything clearly here. It's enough to sense that everything was simple and that simplicity carried a kind of peace. Nothing was crowded. Nothing was required to happen quickly. The universe was young, but already unhurried. As space expanded, it also cooled. What had once been too energetic to settle began to slow. Tiny particles drifted freely, meeting and separating without resistance. There was no direction to follow, no destination to reach. Motion existed, but it was soft, like dust suspended in still air. If your thoughts wander as you imagine this, that's perfectly fine. There is nothing here that needs to be held on to. With time, patterns began to form, not because anything planned them, but because calm conditions allowed them to appear. Energy thinned. Movement became smoother. Balance emerged naturally. The universe did not rush toward complexity. It rested in simplicity for a very long time, allowing space to grow wide and quiet. You can let your breathing slow as you think about this early universe. There was no danger, no instability, no sudden change, just steady expansion and cooling over spans of time so long that human numbers no longer apply. Billions of years passed as gently as seconds do now. The universe was learning how to be spacious. Eventually, within this calm openness, matter found itself drawn together by a subtle force. Gravity did not pull sharply. It invited. Particles leaned toward one another, gathering slowly, almost reluctantly, as if they had all the time they needed. Large regions of space remained empty and dark, while other areas grew slightly denser, holding on to just a little more than before. This was not yet the story of planets or life. It was the story of stillness learning to hold form. Vast clouds of material drifted through the dark, unlit, and quiet. Nothing glowed yet. Nothing shone. The universe was preparing, without awareness, without intention, simply by allowing time to pass. You are safe as you listen to this. Nothing sudden happens here. The universe does not surprise itself. It unfolds gently, step by step, layer by layer, with pauses so long they feel like rest. If your attention fades in and out, that's natural. The universe itself moved this way, slowly forming structure while remaining deeply calm. In this early age, there was no earth waiting to be formed, no oceans, no sky. But the conditions that would one day allow those things were quietly being set. Space was clearing. Energy was settling. The foundation was being laid without effort. As you rest now, you can imagine this beginning not as a distant scientific idea, but as a feeling of openness, wide space, gentle motion, no pressure to arrive anywhere, just time moving forward at its own pace. This same patience still exists in the universe today, and it surrounds you now, unchanged, steady, and calm. As the universe continued to expand, it continued to cool. What had once been an intense, energetic state slowly softened into something quieter and more stable. Temperature dropped gently, not all at once, but gradually, giving everything time to settle. There was no rush toward form. Cooling itself became a kind of rest. In this calmer environment, the smallest pieces of matter began to behave differently. Particles that once moved too quickly to connect now drifted slowly enough to linger near one another. They did not cling tightly. They simply stayed close, held together by balance rather than force. This was the beginning of structure, not built, but allowed. You don't need to picture these particles clearly. They were unimaginably small, far beyond anything familiar. What matters is the feeling of the process. Motion slowing, energy thinning, space becoming more gentle. The universe was learning how to be quiet enough for order to appear. Over long stretches of time, simple combinations formed. Hydrogen atoms came together calmly, becoming the most common presence in the universe. Helium followed, slightly heavier, still light and stable. These were not dramatic events. They happened everywhere, softly and repeatedly, like a pattern forming on its own when conditions are right. Large regions of space remained empty, vast and still. Other regions became faintly denser, holding just a little more matter than their surroundings. These differences were subtle, almost invisible. But subtle changes, when given enough time, are powerful. You can let that idea pass through your thoughts without holding on to it. Gravity continued its quiet work. It did not command matter to move. It simply shaped the paths matter already followed. Where particles drifted close enough, gravity helped them remain together. Where space was emptier, it stayed that way. The universe was not trying to be symmetrical or perfect. It was comfortable with unevenness. During this long cooling period, there were no stars, no light sources, no warmth as we would recognize it. Darkness was complete, but not empty. It was filled with slow motion and quiet potential. If your mind feels heavy or relaxed here, that mirrors the universe itself. This was a deeply restful era. Time moved forward patiently. Millions of years passed, then hundreds of millions, then more, without anything needing to change quickly. The universe did not count these moments. It simply allowed them. This slowness is important. It set the tone for everything that would follow. As matter continued to gather in gentle ways, the universe became slightly more textured. Not crowded, not busy, just softly varied. These small variations would one day lead to light, warmth, and motion on a larger scale. But for now, everything remained subdued and quiet. You are free to drift as you listen. Nothing here requires attention or effort. The universe itself moved through this phase without awareness, without intention, simply by being stable long enough for calm patterns to appear. That same sense of stability is available to you now. In this cooling, settling universe, the groundwork was being laid for future light. Not through urgency, but through patience. Not through force, but through balance. Everything was preparing quietly, resting in a state where nothing needed to hurry. After a long age of cooling and quiet drift, the universe reached a point where something new could happen. Not suddenly, but naturally. In certain regions, matter had gathered just enough to change the balance. These areas were still calm, still dark, but they carried a gentle density that set them apart from the surrounding space. Within these softly crowded regions, gravity continued its patient work. Clouds of hydrogen and helium grew slowly, drawn inward over immense spans of time. As they gathered, the motion remained smooth and unforced. Nothing collapsed sharply. Everything eased inward, like a slow settling rather than a fall. As these clouds became denser, their interiors warmed slightly, not with fire or flame, but with a gradual increase in pressure. The warmth was steady and contained, held gently by gravity. For a long time, nothing visible happened. The clouds simply thickened, deepened, and rested in their slow inward movement. Eventually, in the hearts of some of these clouds, conditions became just right. Pressure and temperature reached a quiet threshold. Hydrogen atoms began to join together in a new way, releasing a steady glow of energy. This was the birth of the first stars. The first light did not flash across the universe. It appeared softly, point by point, like distant embers awakening in a vast, dark field. These early stars were simple and massive, glowing steadily without decoration. They did not shine to be seen. They shone because the conditions allowed it. As starlight spread, it did not erase the darkness. Most of the universe remained calm and unlit. The light existed alongside the dark, not in conflict with it. Darkness still held space between stars, wide and quiet, offering rest between points of warmth. You don't need to imagine bright colors or sharp contrast here. The early universe was muted. Light was gentle, and distance softened everything. Stars were far apart, each one surrounded by silence. If your thoughts drift while imagining this, that's completely natural. This was a time defined by patience. These first stars lived quietly and steadily for millions of years. They warmed their surroundings just enough to bring subtle change. Over time, they created heavier elements in their cores, not all at once, but gradually, layer by layer. Even creation itself moved slowly. When these early stars eventually reached the ends of their long lives, they released their material back into space. Not violently in every case, but thoroughly. Their remains drifted outward, mixing with surrounding clouds, enriching the universe with new ingredients. This cycle, star formation followed by gentle release, added depth and texture to the universe. Space was no longer made of only the simplest elements. It now carried the quiet memory of stars that had existed and faded. As you rest now, you can sense this phase as one of warmth entering stillness, light appearing without urgency, change happening without disruption. The universe was learning how to glow while remaining calm, how to hold both motion and rest at the same time. This soft emergence of light marked a turning point, not toward speed or noise, but toward richness. The universe remained spacious and quiet, but it now carried the potential for worlds yet to come, resting patiently within drifting clouds of starlight and dust. As generations of early stars lived and gently faded, the universe became quietly richer. When those first stars released their material back into space, they did not disappear completely. Their substance drifted outward, thinning and spreading, joining vast clouds that moved slowly through the dark. Space was no longer made of only the lightest elements. It now carried fine grains of heavier matter, soft and subtle, like dust suspended in still air. This cosmic dust did not rush anywhere. It floated, cooled, and mixed, guided by the same calm gravity that had always been present. Large clouds formed, not sharply defined, but loose and patient, stretching across great distances. Within them, tiny particles brushed past one another, sometimes lingering, sometimes drifting apart again. Nothing needed to hold tightly. Time was abundant. Over immense spans, these clouds became places of quiet possibility. Gravity gently encouraged material to gather, not into sudden clumps, but into slow swirls and faint layers. Motion here was smooth and circular, like water moving in a wide, shallow basin. If your breathing slows as you imagine this, you are following the same rhythm. Within these drifting clouds, order began to appear without instruction. Dust grains aligned with one another. Gas settled into soft bands. Everything followed simple rules, repeated endlessly until structure emerged on its own. This was not construction. It was allowance. Space was letting form happen. The universe at this stage was still mostly dark and cool. Light existed, but it was distant and gentle. Between stars, clouds of dust absorbed and softened that light, creating deep regions of shadow. These shadows were not empty. They were full of slow movement and quiet chemistry, hidden from view, but steady. As dust and gas continued their patient dance, some regions grew slightly denser than others. These differences were small, barely noticeable, but over long periods, they mattered. Gravity favored these places, encouraging them to gather just a little more, and then a little more again. The process never hurried. It waited. You can allow your attention to drift here. Nothing important will be missed. The universe itself spent countless ages in this state, content to let dust drift and settle without expectation. This long pause was essential. It allowed complexity to form without tension. Within these enriched clouds, the ingredients for future worlds were slowly being prepared, not as finished objects, but as raw potential. Minerals, metals, and compounds mingled quietly, forming the groundwork for what would come much later. At this moment, there was no earth, no sun, no direction toward life, just preparation through stillness. This phase of dust and gentle gathering was one of deep patience. The universe was not moving toward a goal. It was simply deepening, adding layers, becoming more textured while remaining calm. If you feel a sense of quiet weight or softness now, that mirrors this era perfectly. As time continued its steady passage, these drifting clouds carried within them the quiet promise of structure. Everything necessary was present, resting, unassembled, waiting not for a signal, but for enough time to pass. And time, as always, was generous. From within those vast clouds of dust and gas, some regions began to grow a little quieter than the rest. Motion slowed even further, as if the universe itself had decided to pause there for a moment longer. Gravity, always gentle and patient, continued to draw material inward. Not sharply, but with a steady pull that invited matter to stay close. Over long stretches of time, these regions flattened slightly as they turned. Rotation emerged naturally, not because anything forced it, but because movement conserved itself. The clouds became broad, calm disks, spinning slowly in the dark. At their centers, material gathered more densely, warming just enough to hold together. In one such quiet region, a modest star began to form. It was not among the brightest or the largest. It did not demand attention. It simply settled into balance, glowing softly as nuclear fusion began deep within its core. This star would one day be known as the Sun, but for now it was simply a stable source of warmth in an otherwise cool expanse. Around this young star, the remaining dust and gas continued their slow rotation. Particles drifted, met, and lingered. Small grains stuck together gently, forming slightly larger pieces. Those pieces met others, repeating the same calm process again and again. There was no rush toward completion. Everything unfolded at a pace set by patience. Within this rotating disk, motion was orderly and unhurried. Paths curved smoothly. Collisions were soft and infrequent. Over time, clusters of material became more defined, forming the early shapes of planets. These were not yet worlds with surfaces or skies, but quiet gatherings of matter, still warm, still changing. You can imagine this solar neighborhood as peaceful and spacious. Distances were wide, movement was slow. Nothing crowded anything else. The young sun shone steadily, offering warmth without intensity. Its light did not blaze. It rested. As larger bodies formed, they cleared gentle paths through the surrounding disk, guiding smaller particles into calmer orbits. This process took millions of years, passing like a long, unbroken night. The system adjusted itself gradually, settling into a stable arrangement. If your thoughts wander here, let them. This era was defined by repetition and rest. The same motions happened over and over, smoothing rough edges, easing sharp differences. Chaos faded into order, not through force, but through time. Among these forming bodies, one small planet occupied a comfortable distance from its star. Not too close, not too far. It gathered rock and metal slowly, growing warmer inside while remaining calm on the outside. This planet would one day become Earth. For now, it was only a quiet sphere taking shape, surrounded by drifting remnants of dust, circling a gentle star. Nothing about it suggested urgency or importance. It was simply part of a balanced system, finding its rhythm. This calm formation of a solar system was not unique or dramatic. It happened quietly, as many others had and would. But within this particular stillness, the conditions were being set for a long, slow story to unfold. One that would move at the same unhurried pace as the universe itself. As the young Earth continued to gather material, it did so slowly and steadily, growing layer by layer over immense spans of time. Rock and metal drifted inward from the surrounding disk, joining the forming planet without violence. Each addition warmed Earth's interior just a little more, not enough to disturb the calm, but enough to allow motion beneath the surface. Inside this growing world, heat collected quietly. Heavier materials sank toward the center, while lighter materials rose outward. This gentle sorting happened naturally, guided by gravity and time. There was no sharp boundary, no sudden shift. The planet arranged itself patiently, finding balance from within. At the surface, Earth was still young and restless, but not chaotic. Molten rock moved slowly beneath a thin, forming crust. Volcanoes did not erupt in sudden fury. They released heat gradually, allowing pressure to ease rather than explode. The planet was learning how to cool, how to settle, how to hold itself together. As time passed, impacts became less frequent. The space around Earth grew quieter as remaining debris found stable orbits or drifted away. With fewer disturbances, the surface had time to rest between changes. Cracks cooled, layers hardened. The crust thickened gently, like skin forming over a healing surface. Earth rotated calmly beneath the young sun. Days passed, then nights, repeating without interruption. This rhythm, simple and steady, helped the planet release heat evenly. Motion became familiar. Nothing hurried. The planet was not yet a place of life, but it was becoming a place of stability. Within Earth's depths, slow currents of heat continued to move, circulating over millions of years. These movements shaped the surface from below, lifting some regions slightly, lowering others, all at a pace too slow to notice moment by moment. Change here was measured not in events, but in eras. If you imagine this forming Earth now, you don't need sharp images. Think instead of warmth held gently, motion softened by time, and a surface learning how to be still. The planet was active, but never frantic. Everything happened gradually enough to remain calm. Gases released from the interior began to linger above the surface. They did not form a clear sky yet, but they stayed close, drawn by gravity. This early atmosphere was thin and uneven, drifting and reshaping itself slowly as Earth continued to cool. You can allow your thoughts to slow here. Earth itself was slowing. Energy was being released little by little, finding its way outward without disruption. The planet was settling into itself, becoming quieter with every passing million years. This phase of Earth's formation was one of adjustment rather than transformation. The planet was not rushing toward what it would become. It was simply finding equilibrium, easing into a state where long cycles could begin. As you rest now, you can sense this deep patience beneath the surface of everything. Earth was learning how to hold warmth without turmoil, how to change without urgency. These lessons, written in stone and time, still shape the planet beneath your feet today. As Earth continued to cool, its surface began to grow calmer and more stable. What had once been mostly molten slowly quieted, allowing solid ground to remain for longer stretches of time. The heat beneath the surface did not disappear, but it softened, moving more slowly, releasing itself in gentle waves rather than constant motion. The crust thickened gradually. Layers of rock settled and hardened, creating a skin that could hold its shape. Cracks formed, cooled, and closed again over long periods. Nothing here happened suddenly. Each change was given time to complete before the next began. The planet was learning patience through repetition. Above the surface, gases gathered more consistently. They lingered, forming a thin blanket that softened the contrast between heat and cold. This early atmosphere was not clear or blue. It was dense and hazy, drifting slowly around the planet, smoothing temperature differences and helping Earth cool even further. Rain did not fall yet, but moisture existed in the air, moving gently with the planet's rotation. Steam rose from warm surfaces and drifted upward, only to cool and settle again. This slow cycling helped the surface lose heat evenly, without stress or sudden change. As impacts from space became rarer, long, quiet periods settled in. Earth was no longer constantly disturbed. Between moments of activity, there were ages of calm. During these stretches, the surface rested, adjusting to the balance between internal warmth and the cooler reaches of space. Day followed night in an unbroken rhythm. Rotation brought gentle change, not extremes. The young sun warmed one side of the planet, then released it to darkness again, over and over, steady and reliable. This pattern allowed Earth to distribute energy smoothly, encouraging stability. Within the crust, minerals continued to arrange themselves. Crystals formed slowly, given time to grow without interruption. Rocks gained structure and strength through stillness. What had once been fluid became firm, not through force, but through cooling and rest. If your thoughts drift here, that is natural. Earth itself drifted into this calmer state. There was no urgency to move forward. The planet was not preparing for life yet. It was simply becoming comfortable in its own form. Over millions of years, the surface became a place where change could happen gently rather than violently. This stability mattered. It created conditions where future processes could unfold without constant disruption. Earth was learning how to hold change without breaking. As you rest now, you can sense this quiet settling beneath everything. The ground beneath you carries this memory of cooling and patience. Earth learned how to become still, not all at once, but gradually, layer by layer, over time so vast it feels like calm itself. As the surface of Earth continued to cool, something gentle and transformative began to happen. Water, which had long existed as vapor within the warm atmosphere, slowly found the conditions it needed to rest. Temperatures softened just enough for moisture to linger longer in the air, moving patiently around the planet as Earth turned beneath it. Over very long periods, this moisture condensed. Not in sudden storms, but in gradual releases. Rain began to fall softly, again and again, over spans of time so long that single drops held no importance. The The rain did not rush to shape the land. It simply arrived, quietly, allowing gravity to guide it downward. As water reached the surface, it collected in low places, pooling gently and remaining there. Shallow basins filled first, then wider regions. With each cycle of condensation and release, more water settled, spreading slowly across the planet. There was no coastline yet, no familiar shape, just water finding rest wherever it could. The warmth rising from within Earth met the cooling influence of space, and water moved between these states without urgency. Steam rose, cooled, and returned again. This repetition created balance. Heat was carried away gently, and the surface continued its long process of settling. As water accumulated, the first ancient oceans began to form. They were not deep or vast at first. They were calm, warm, and still, covered by a hazy sky that softened the light from the sun. These early seas moved slowly, with no strong tides or sharp waves. Motion existed, but it was subdued. Within these waters, minerals dissolved from the surrounding rock. They mixed quietly, forming a rich but gentle environment. Chemistry unfolded here without intention or direction, repeating simple interactions over and over. Nothing yet lived, but conditions were becoming steady and welcoming. You don't need to imagine these oceans clearly. It's enough to sense their presence as something slow and supportive. Water resting on stone, heat releasing itself calmly. The planet breathing evenly through evaporation and condensation, over and over again. As impacts from space grew even rarer, Earth entered longer periods of uninterrupted calm. Oceans were no longer disturbed by sudden change. They had time to remain, to deepen, and to settle into stable patterns. This stability mattered more than movement. If your mind begins to drift now, allow it. The oceans themselves drifted into existence this way. There was no signal marking their arrival, no moment of completion, just water, finally able to stay. With oceans present, Earth had gained a powerful way to regulate itself. Water absorbed warmth and released it slowly, preventing extremes. This gentle moderation helped the planet become more predictable, more even, more at ease. As you rest and listen, you can imagine these early oceans not as dramatic places, but as quiet holders of time. They changed the planet simply by being there, offering patience, softness, and balance. In their calm presence, Earth took another slow step toward becoming a stable, living world. As Earth's oceans settled into their quiet presence, the planet's atmosphere also began to change in gentle ways. Gases released slowly from deep within the planet now lingered more consistently above the surface. They did not form a clear sky yet, but they created a soft envelope, holding warmth and smoothing the contrast between day and night. This early atmosphere was thick and hazy, rich with water vapor, carbon dioxide and other gases drifting without urgency. It moved slowly around the planet as Earth rotated, spreading heat evenly and preventing sudden shifts. Light from the young sun filtered through this haze, arriving softened and diffuse, never sharp. With oceans below and atmosphere above, Earth entered a new phase of balance. Heat from the interior rose gently and escaped gradually into space. Water absorbed warmth during the day and released it at night. Air carried energy quietly from one region to another. The planet began to regulate itself without effort. Clouds formed slowly as moisture gathered and cooled. They were not towering or dramatic. They drifted low and wide, dissolving and reforming without pattern. Rain continued its calm cycle, falling softly, returning water to the surface without force. This repetition helped stabilize temperatures and allowed the surface to rest. Over immense spans of time, the atmosphere thickened slightly, becoming more uniform. Gases mixed thoroughly, losing sharp boundaries. The sky became a steady presence rather than a shifting condition. Earth was no longer exposed directly to space in the same way. It was held gently within its own layers. If you imagine this now, think of softness rather than structure. The atmosphere did not define itself by color or shape. It defined itself by function. It protected, balanced, and softened everything beneath it. This protection did not require action. It existed simply by remaining in place. Within this calm air, chemistry continued its quiet work. Sunlight, filtered through clouds and haze, reached the oceans below. Energy moved gently between air and water, allowing simple reactions to repeat again and again. Nothing complex yet formed, but conditions were becoming increasingly stable. Earth's surface experienced fewer extremes. Heat no longer escaped too quickly. Cold did not settle sharply. This moderation allowed long cycles to continue without disruption. The planet moved toward consistency, one slow adjustment at a time. You are free to drift here. Earth itself drifted into this state without awareness or intention. There was no moment when the atmosphere became complete. It simply grew more settled with time, becoming less reactive and more supportive. As this calm envelope surrounded the planet, Earth became a place where change could happen gently. The atmosphere did not push events forward. It allowed them to unfold slowly, holding the planet in a steady embrace. As you rest now, you can sense this ancient air as a quiet guardian. It did not announce its presence. It simply remained, softening light, smoothing temperature, and preparing the planet for the next long chapter, where subtle chemistry would begin to take on new forms, quietly and patiently. With oceans resting on the surface and a calm atmosphere surrounding the planet, Earth entered a phase where change became very subtle. Nothing new appeared suddenly. Instead, simple processes repeated themselves quietly, over and over, allowing gentle complexity to grow without disruption. Within the warm, shallow waters of the early oceans, basic chemical elements mixed freely. Water moved slowly over rock, dissolving minerals and carrying them into solution. These minerals did not rush anywhere. They drifted, met, separated, and met again, guided by temperature, light, and time rather than force. Energy from the sun reached the surface in a softened form, filtered by clouds and atmosphere. This energy was steady and predictable. It warmed the oceans slightly during the day and released that warmth slowly as night returned. This rhythm allowed chemical reactions to occur again and again under similar conditions, reinforcing patterns through repetition. In these calm waters, simple molecules formed naturally. They did not assemble with purpose. They emerged because the environment allowed them to remain stable long enough to exist. Some broke apart, others persisted. Over immense spans of time, persistence mattered more than complexity. Along coastlines and shallow basins, water moved gently in and out, leaving thin films behind as it evaporated. In these quiet spaces, molecules concentrated and interacted more closely. This was not a rare event. It happened endlessly across countless regions, without urgency or attention. You don't need to imagine these reactions in detail. What matters is the feeling of patience. Chemistry unfolded here the same way the planet itself had formed, slowly, repeatedly, without instruction. Earth was not trying to create anything. It was simply allowing conditions to remain steady. Heat from below, sunlight from above, and water all around created a balanced environment. Nothing dominated. No single process overwhelmed the others. This balance made the surface feel calm, even though constant change was taking place at the smallest scales. Over time, certain chemical arrangements proved more stable than others. They lasted slightly longer, resisted breaking apart, and appeared again under similar conditions. This was not selection in a dramatic sense. It was quiet continuity. Patterns that fit the environment remained present. If your attention drifts here, that mirrors the nature of this era. Nothing demanded focus. The planet rested while chemistry explored possibilities gently, without haste. Millions of years passed with no visible change, only steady repetition beneath the surface. These early chemical patterns did not yet form life. They were simply groundwork. They prepared the environment by showing what could remain stable, what could persist. Earth was learning what it could hold. As you rest now, you can imagine this phase as a long, calm experiment with no observer. Water moving softly, light arriving gently, molecules meeting and parting without consequence. In this unhurried stillness, The conditions for something new were slowly, quietly being prepared. Over immense spans of time, the quiet chemistry within Earth's oceans began to settle into familiar patterns. Certain arrangements of molecules appeared again and again, not because they were chosen, but because the environment allowed them to remain intact a little longer than others. Stability, not complexity, guided what stayed. In the warmth of shallow waters, some molecular structures formed gentle boundaries separating what was inside from what was outside. These boundaries were soft and temporary, dissolving and reforming easily. They did not enclose anything with intention. They simply created small spaces where conditions remained slightly more consistent than the surrounding water. Within these protected spaces, chemical reactions repeated themselves calmly. Energy flowed in from the environment, was used briefly, and then released again. Nothing here aimed to grow or expand. The only requirement was balance. As long as reactions could continue without disruption, these small systems persisted. This was not yet life in any familiar sense. There was no awareness, no purpose, no struggle. There were only patterns that endured because the planet supported them. When conditions shifted, many patterns faded quietly. Others reappeared elsewhere, unchanged, repeating the same gentle interactions. Time passed without markers. Millions of years moved by as softly as minutes. Across the oceans, countless tiny systems formed and dissolved, leaving no trace behind. Yet slowly, the planet became filled with places where chemistry lingered just a little longer than before. Eventually, some of these systems began to influence their surroundings in subtle ways. They altered the chemistry around them slightly, making conditions more favorable for their own continuation. This was not competition. It was quiet accommodation between environment and process. Replication, when it first appeared, was imperfect and slow. Simple structures encouraged the formation of similar structures nearby, not with accuracy, but with familiarity. Copies were loose and varied, and many did not last. But some remained stable enough to continue the cycle. If you imagine this now, think of it as repetition rather than creation. The planet was not producing life. It was allowing certain patterns to echo. These echoes were faint, fragile, and easily lost, yet they returned again and again because the environment remained gentle. There was no sudden moment when life began. No clear line separating non-living chemistry from living processes. Instead, there was a gradual blending. Chemistry became more self-sustaining, more consistent, more present across the planet's waters. Earth remained calm throughout this transition. Oceans continued their slow motion. The atmosphere held steady. Temperatures stayed moderate. Nothing pushed events forward. The planet simply continued to offer time, stability, and balance. You can allow yourself to rest here. This phase was defined by subtlety. Nothing dramatic occurred. Life did not announce itself. It emerged quietly, almost unnoticed, as a natural extension of the planet's steady rhythms. As you listen now, you are resting within this same continuity. The earth beneath you still follows these ancient patterns of balance and repetition. The first living processes arose not through urgency or force, but through patience, supported by a planet that had learned how to remain calm for billions of years. For a very long time after the first living patterns appeared, almost nothing seemed to change. Life remained simple, small, and quiet, spread thinly through Earth's oceans and shallow waters. These early organisms did not build structures or reshape the planet in visible ways. They existed gently, carrying out the same slow processes again and again. Days and nights passed without interruption. Seasons came and went without meaning. Life followed the planet's rhythm rather than creating its own. Energy arrived softly from the sun, filtered through atmosphere and water, and was used sparingly. Growth was slow. Movement was minimal. Existence itself felt steady and unhurried. Most of these early living forms were single and self-contained. They drifted with currents, rested on surfaces, or remained suspended in water. They did not travel far or fast. They responded to their surroundings quietly, adjusting without resistance whenever conditions shifted slightly. For billions of years, this simplicity remained. Life did not rush toward complexity. It explored only what the environment allowed it to sustain. Stability mattered more than change. Patterns that fit within Earth's gentle balance continued. Others faded without consequence. During this long era, the planet and life learned to coexist without tension. Oceans moderated temperature. The atmosphere softened light. Living processes fit easily into these cycles, taking what they needed and releasing what they did not. Nothing accumulated quickly. Everything moved slowly through shared systems. If your thoughts drift here, let them. This period of Earth's history was defined by stillness. Time passed quietly, without milestones or markers. Life was present, but it did not dominate. It blended into the background of the planet's natural processes. Occasionally, small changes occurred. Some organisms adapted to new sources of energy. Others adjusted to subtle shifts in chemistry. These changes unfolded over spans so long, they felt almost motionless. There was no urgency to become something else. Life simply continued being what it already was. Earth remained calm throughout this age of simplicity. There were no forests, no animals, no sounds beyond water and wind. The planet rested in a state where living and non-living systems flowed together smoothly, each supporting the other without effort. This long, calm period mattered deeply. It allowed life to refine itself quietly, to persist without pressure. By remaining simple for so long, living processes became resilient. They learned how to endure without demanding change. As you rest now, you can sense this deep patience woven into the world around you. Life on Earth began not with sudden complexity, but with long, quiet persistence. That same persistence continues beneath the surface today, steady and unchanged, carrying forward the calm rhythm established billions of years ago. Over time, some of Earth's simplest living forms began to interact with their environment in a new, very subtle way. Using gentle energy from sunlight, they carried out quiet chemical processes that slowly altered the world around them. These changes were not sudden, and they were not intentional. They unfolded gradually, repeating day after day across countless shallow waters. One of the quiet byproducts of these processes was oxygen. At first, it did not accumulate. It reacted quickly with surrounding materials, dissolving into oceans or binding with rock. For a long while, oxygen left almost no trace in the air. Life continued its slow rhythm, unaware that the planet itself was beginning to change. As millions of years passed, these small contributions added up. Oceans slowly filled with dissolved oxygen. Rocks absorbed it. Surfaces altered their chemistry. Only after these reservoirs became saturated did oxygen begin to linger in the atmosphere. Even then, it appeared gently, in small amounts, never all at once. The sky began to change almost imperceptibly. The thick haze softened. Light filtered through in slightly different ways. Temperatures remained moderate, and cycles continued without disruption. Earth adjusted quietly, allowing this new component to become part of its balance. For many existing living forms, this change required adaptation. Some faded away without struggle. Others adjusted slowly, finding new ways to remain stable. There was no conflict, no urgency. Life responded at the same unhurried pace it always had, guided by what the environment could support. As oxygen levels rose gradually, new possibilities emerged. Energy could be used more efficiently. Complex processes became sustainable over long periods. Still, nothing rushed forward. The planet ensured that change remained measured and calm. This transformation took hundreds of millions of years. From one moment to the next, nothing seemed different. Yet over deep time, Earth's chemistry shifted into a new steady state. The atmosphere became more layered. The oceans more dynamic, yet still gentle. If you imagine this now, think of it as the planet exhaling slowly, not in relief, not in release, but in continuity. Earth was not becoming more active. It was becoming more balanced, more capable of holding complexity without losing calm. Life and planet remained closely linked. Changes in living processes influenced the air and water. Changes in the environment guided what life could remain. This quiet feedback created stability rather than tension. As you rest now, You can sense this long adjustment as a deep settling rather than a transformation. Oxygen did not disrupt Earth's rhythm. It joined it. The planet absorbed change the way it always had, slowly, evenly, allowing life to continue unfolding within a calm and steady world. As Earth's atmosphere settled into this new balance, life slowly responded to the quieter opportunities it now offered. With oxygen present in gentle, steady amounts, living systems could release energy more efficiently, allowing them to remain stable for longer periods. This did not lead to sudden bursts of activity. Instead, it allowed life to become slightly more varied, while still moving at the planet's calm pace. New forms emerged gradually, not replacing what existed before, but existing alongside it. Single-celled organisms remained widespread and steady, continuing their quiet routines. Alongside them, small groups of cells began to cooperate, staying together rather than drifting apart. This cooperation was simple and unforced, guided by balance rather than ambition. These early multicellular forms did not move quickly or aggressively. They floated, rested, and absorbed nutrients gently from the surrounding water. Their shapes were soft and uncomplicated, responding to currents rather than resisting them. Life was becoming more complex, but not more demanding. Oceans remained calm and expansive. Currents moved slowly, distributing warmth and nutrients without disruption. The seafloor changed gradually as minerals settled and layers accumulated. Above, the atmosphere continued to moderate light and temperature, keeping conditions predictable and even. Over long stretches of time, diversity increased quietly. Small differences in structure allowed organisms to occupy slightly different spaces, using available energy in their own steady ways. There was no competition as we understand it now. There was simply coexistence within a broad, forgiving environment. If your attention softens here, let it. Earth itself moved through this era without emphasis or urgency. Complexity grew not as a goal, but as a natural extension of stability. Life explored possibilities slowly, always remaining within the limits set by the planet's gentle cycles. Nothing about this period was dramatic. There were no sharp boundaries marking before and after. The world simply became richer in form, while remaining calm in motion. Complexity did not disturb balance. It settled into it. As generations passed, these early complex forms persisted, changed slightly, and persisted again. Their presence added texture to the oceans without altering their peaceful nature. The planet continued to support them quietly, just as it had supported simpler life for billions of years. As you rest now, you can sense this slow unfolding as a deepening rather than a change. Life did not speed up. It softened into new arrangements, guided by the same patience that shaped Earth itself. This calm expansion of complexity prepared the planet for future diversity, all while preserving the steady rhythm that had always been there. As life continued its quiet expansion within the oceans, the solid surface of Earth was also moving. though so slowly that nothing appeared to change from one age to the next. Beneath the calm exterior of the planet, heat still flowed gently, guiding the movement of vast plates of rock that rested on softer layers below. This motion was not abrupt or forceful. It unfolded over millions of years, almost like a deep, unbroken stretch. Continents did not appear fully formed. They emerged gradually, assembling, separating, and reassembling again in different arrangements. Land rose in some regions, while other areas sank beneath the oceans. These shifts were measured and patient, giving the planet time to adjust without disturbance. Mountains did not rise suddenly. They grew slowly, lifted a fraction at a time, then worn down again by wind and water. Oceans responded quietly to these changes. As land moved, coastlines shifted almost imperceptibly. Shallow seas opened and closed over long eras, covering rock, then retreating again. Water flowed into new spaces without resistance, carrying minerals and redistributing heat as it always had. Nothing was lost. Everything was reused. Earth's rotation and orbit remained steady throughout these movements. Day and night continued their rhythm. Seasons repeated gently. The planet maintained its balance even as its surface rearranged itself. Change did not interrupt stability. It existed within it. Within the oceans, life adapted softly to these slow shifts. As seafloors rose or sank, organisms drifted into new regions without urgency. Some settled into deeper waters. Others followed the retreating shallows. There was no struggle to migrate quickly. Time allowed adjustment to happen gradually. If you imagine this now, think of Earth breathing slowly, stretching and relaxing over immense spans of time. Continents were not rigid objects. They were flexible participants in the planet's long rhythm. Movement here was not a sign of instability, but of balance maintained through motion. Erosion worked patiently alongside tectonic motion. Rain, wind, and waves softened sharp edges, smoothing landforms over millions of years. Nothing remained jagged for long. The planet preferred rounded shapes, gentle slopes, and gradual transitions. As continents drifted, they carried climates with them. Regions warmed or cooled slowly, allowing life to adjust without shock. Ice formed and melted in long cycles, responding to subtle changes in sunlight and atmosphere. These cycles repeated calmly, reinforcing Earth's steady character. Throughout all of this, the planet never rushed. There was no moment when Earth became something new all at once. It remained a living system defined by slow movement and quiet correction. Land, sea, air, and life adjusted together, each responding to the others without conflict. As you rest now, you can sense this deep, continuous motion beneath the stillness you experience. The ground feels solid, but it carries a memory of movement measured not in moments, but in ages. Earth continues this slow rearrangement today, steady and calm, holding change gently within and enduring. As Earth's surface continued its slow, patient movement, a set of gentle rhythms became firmly established across the planet. These rhythms were not dramatic events, but repeating patterns that brought consistency. Day followed night. Warmth followed coolness. Light returned after darkness. Again and again, without interruption. The planet learned how to repeat itself calmly. Earth's rotation settled into a steady pace. Each turn was familiar, predictable, and unhurried. This regular motion allowed heat to spread evenly, preventing extremes from taking hold for long. Nothing lingered too intensely. Balance was maintained through repetition rather than correction. The orbit around the Sun also found its quiet stability. Seasons emerged as soft variations rather than sharp divisions. Changes in temperature unfolded gradually, giving oceans, land, and atmosphere time to respond together. Life moved within these changes easily, adjusting without strain. Within the oceans, currents traced slow paths across vast distances. Warm water drifted gently toward cooler regions, while cooler water returned beneath it. These movements were continuous and calm, redistributing energy without turbulence. The oceans became quiet carriers of stability, smoothing differences wherever they passed. On land, wind followed familiar routes shaped by continents and temperature. It moved steadily, shaping landscapes without force. Rain fell where air rose and cooled, then returned to the oceans through rivers that flowed patiently downhill. Each cycle supported the next, forming a closed, gentle loop. If your thoughts begin to drift here, let them. Earth itself drifted into this state of rhythmic balance. Nothing needed to be managed or controlled. The planet did not correct mistakes. It simply followed patterns that worked, repeating them until they became reliable. Life adapted to these rhythms quietly. Organisms grew, rested, and changed in time with their surroundings. There was no need to anticipate or react quickly. Predictability allowed calm persistence. Stability became the environment's most important feature. Over immense spans of time, these cycles reinforced one another. Oceans moderated climate. Atmosphere softened sunlight. Land guided wind and water. Life fit into the spaces created by these interactions. The planet functioned as a single, coordinated system without intention. This coordination did not make Earth static. Change continued, but it moved within boundaries set by repetition. Variation existed, but it returned always to balance. The planet learned how to absorb disturbance gently and release it slowly. As you rest now, you can sense these cycles continuing around you. The steady turning of the planet, the movement of air, the quiet exchange of heat and moisture. These rhythms were established long ago, and they remain dependable today. Earth does not hurry through its cycles. It repeats them patiently, offering a stable foundation for everything that rests upon it. In this repetition, there is comfort. In this consistency, there is rest. The planet continues, calm and steady, carrying time forward one quiet cycle at a time. With Earth's cycles now steady and familiar, the relationship between life and planet became quieter and more balanced. The world no longer felt like a place preparing itself. It felt like a place sustaining itself. Oceans, air, and land continued their slow exchanges, and living systems settled into these exchanges naturally, becoming part of the planet's gentle circulation. Life remained mostly in the oceans for a long time, continuing its calm evolution beneath the surface. Microbial life still formed the background of everything, steady and enduring. More complex organisms existed as well, but they did not dominate the planet. They moved slowly, lived quietly, and fit within the rhythms already established. Over deep time, living systems influenced the atmosphere and oceans in subtle ways. Oxygen continued to rise and fall within gentle limits, shaped by the long work of countless organisms. Carbon moved through air and water, absorbed and released again, circulating without hurry. The planet learned to recycle what it had, rather than relying on sudden change. On land, the surface continued to shift gradually as continents drifted and erosion softened edges. Rivers carried minerals from rock to sea. Sediments settled into calm layers. Over long spans, these layers became new rock, later lifted and reshaped again. Earth's recycling extended into stone, as well as water and air. As climates shifted slowly, life adjusted softly. When regions warmed, life expanded gently into new spaces. When regions cooled, life retreated or slowed without drama. Extinctions and renewals did occur, but in this calm telling, they are part of long cycles rather than sudden endings. The planet did not break, it rebalanced. If your attention grows heavy here, let it. Earth itself moved through these changes without urgency. The world learned a quiet skill: how to remain stable while still evolving. Change did not mean instability. It meant adaptation within a steady frame. Over time, ecosystems became more layered, with organisms influencing one another indirectly through the environment they shared. Nutrients moved from sea to shore and back again. Energy moved through living chains and returned to the ground and water. Nothing was wasted. Everything returned. The atmosphere continued to soften light. The oceans continued to hold warmth and release it slowly. The land continued to guide wind and rain. Life continued to fit into these patterns, sometimes growing more complex, sometimes returning to simplicity. always moving at Earth's pace. As you rest now, you can sense the feeling of this balance. A planet that does not need to rush. A world that can change without losing its calm. The systems that began as dust and drifting gases became a steady home for living processes that learned to persist quietly. This balance is not perfect, but it is resilient. It has endured through immense time, through rearrangements of continents and gentle shifts of climate, through long ages of stillness and slow unfolding. Earth remains steady beneath it all, holding life within its quiet rhythms and continuing forward with patience that never runs out. As these long balances continued, Earth settled into a state where change no longer felt like transition, but like continuity. The planet did not move from one phase into another. It remained within a steady range, adjusting softly as conditions shifted around it. This self-regulation did not require awareness or control. It emerged naturally from countless slow interactions repeating over time. Oceans absorbed heat when the world warmed and released it again when temperatures cooled. Ice formed gradually in colder regions, reflecting light and easing further warming, then retreated just as slowly when conditions softened. These movements were not abrupt corrections. They were gentle responses, unfolding over long periods, allowing the planet to remain within comfortable limits. The atmosphere continued to play its quiet role. Clouds formed and dissolved. Rain fell and returned to the sea. Gases circulated and mixed. Each of these processes worked together without urgency. Nothing needed to be forced into balance. The balance maintained itself through repetition and patience. Life participated in this regulation quietly. Living organisms absorbed elements from their surroundings and released them again, returning nutrients to air, water, and soil. Growth was followed by rest. Expansion was followed by return. The planet did not accumulate endlessly in any one direction. It circulated what it had. On land, soils formed slowly from weathered rock and organic material. These soils held water, moderated temperature, and supported new forms of life when conditions allowed. Over time, vegetation appeared and disappeared in gentle cycles, responding to climate rather than reshaping it abruptly. The land learned how to soften extremes. If you imagine Earth at this stage, it feels settled rather than finished. The planet did not arrive at a final form. It entered a long period of resilience where systems could bend slightly without breaking. Stability did not mean stillness. It meant the ability to absorb change without disruption. Time continued its steady passage. Thousands of generations of living forms came and went, leaving behind subtle traces that became part of the planet's ongoing cycles. Nothing needed to last forever. Persistence came from renewal rather than permanence. As climates shifted over deep time, Earth adjusted quietly. Warmer periods allowed life to spread. Cooler periods slowed it down. These shifts did not threaten the planet's overall balance. They were part of its natural rhythm, repeating without urgency or alarm. You can let your thoughts rest here. This phase of Earth's story is not about events, but about endurance. A world capable of sustaining itself through change. A system refined not by speed, but by patience. As you listen now, you are resting within the result of these ancient adjustments. The air you breathe, the water that moves across the surface, the ground beneath you all carry this long memory of balance. Earth continues to regulate itself gently, just as it has for ages, holding change softly and moving forward without haste. Within this long, steady balance, the present moment occupies only a very small space. Human time, with its days and years, moves quickly compared to the deep rhythms of the planet. From Earth's perspective, centuries pass like brief pauses, and even entire civilizations appear and fade without disturbing the larger flow. Life on the planet continued to evolve quietly, exploring new forms and arrangements while remaining within the same broad cycles. Forests expanded and retreated. Ice advanced and softened. Oceans rose and fell slightly along familiar coastlines. These changes unfolded over spans so long they felt almost still, measured more by layers of rock and sediment than by moments. The planet did not mark beginnings or endings. It carried change evenly, without preference for what came before or after. Species appeared when conditions allowed and disappeared when those conditions shifted. This movement was not a failure or a loss. It was part of Earth's continuous adjustment, a way of maintaining balance through renewal. If you imagine human presence here, it is brief and light. Footsteps across stone, settlements forming and dissolving, tools and structures rising and returning to the surface from which they came. From the planet's perspective, these events blend into the background, small ripples on a very deep surface. Earth's cycles continued regardless. Day followed night. Seasons returned gently. Water moved from ocean to cloud to rain and back again. The atmosphere continued to soften light and moderate temperature. These systems did not pause or accelerate. They simply remained. You are free to drift here. This part of the story does not require focus or understanding. It offers perspective rather than information. The planet has carried countless moments like this one, each resting briefly within its long unfolding. Over deep time, the distinction between past and present softens. Everything becomes part of the same ongoing motion. What feels immediate to us is simply one expression of processes that began billions of years ago and continue without urgency. As you rest now, you can sense how small and supported the present moment is. You are not required to hold the future or the past. Earth has done that work patiently for ages. It will continue to do so, steady and unchanged in its deeper rhythms. The planet does not rush toward what comes next. It does not dwell on what has already passed. It carries each moment evenly, allowing it to exist briefly before returning it to the flow of time. In this way, the present becomes a place of rest rather than pressure, a quiet point within a vast continuum. Earth remains beneath it all, calm and enduring, holding every passing moment gently as it continues forward, unhurried and at ease. As the story of Earth's long evolution settles into the present, it becomes less about events and more about belonging. The planet you rest upon is not separate from its past. Every layer of stone, every movement of air and water carries the memory of all that came before. Nothing has been lost. Everything has been carried forward quietly. The same processes that shaped the earliest oceans continue today. Water still moves gently between sea, sky, and land. Heat still rises slowly from within the planet and releases itself without urgency. The atmosphere still softens light and moderates change. These systems do not announce themselves. They simply remain. Life, too, continues within these steady rhythms. Growth and rest follow one another without demand. Complexity appears and recedes, always guided by balance rather than speed. Even now, living systems adjust softly to their surroundings, responding not to deadlines, but to conditions. When you consider the vast timeline that brought Earth to this moment, there is no need to feel small or distant from it. You are part of this continuity. The same patience that allowed dust to gather, oceans to form, and life to emerge also supports you now. Nothing about this world requires haste. You can allow yourself to rest within this understanding. The planet does not expect attention or effort. It has been carrying forward for billions of years without instruction. Its stability does not depend on awareness. It depends on time, repetition, and balance. The ground beneath you is calm because it has learned how to be. The air around you is gentle because it has been circulating quietly for ages. The water that moves across the surface follows paths refined through immense patience. These elements continue their work whether they are noticed or not. If your thoughts slow or fade here, let them. This closing moment is not meant to conclude anything sharply. It is meant to settle. The story of Earth does not end. It continues beyond this telling, beyond this moment, at the same unhurried pace it always has. As you rest now, you are resting within a living system that knows how to endure. A planet that has learned how to change without losing calm. A world that carries every moment gently, including this one. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to hold on to. The Earth will continue its quiet unfolding, steady and patient. Long after attention drifts away, you are safe within this long rhythm, supported by processes older than memory, moving forward without urgency, without demand, and without end.